Chujara. But now what's happening?
What happened?
I just did because since they ignore me, they go, they come back. You understand? So this Sunday, you just come. When passport, by the way, you just come. And they eat in the afternoon. As usual, I call and say, okay, come up to do mass. You don't come. I leave them. I finish our prayer. The mass what they do. So he can't come. He need my P21. He need my my passport. He just lists some few things. I don't even talk. I don't even answer. You understand?
Baby, one want to talk to you.
You understand?
Chidera, can you stop right now?
Baby, come. Baby, come.
I'll go there.
Baby,
I'll
come.
go there.
Baby, come. Leave
No, I don't come. What's that
People
something?
come by that say, leave on.
Don't go there, may not go
Leave
enjoy
on.
yourself.
Leave
Not
on.
go there because broken things they are not good there.
Leave on.
You understand?
There's
So when he can't come my room, say make I give him. I can't answer I don't go give him. He can't go carry my stuff for my room. They begin to look
What
for
did you
my
want there for?
P21.
What do you want use P21 for?
He said he want apply for his school thing for
For what?
UCD. Say UCD.
Hello guys, hello guys. I hope you're good. I hope you're well. You're welcome to my channel. My name is Gloria. Today I have with me Bolaji.
Yeah.
Bolaji is the founder of the Leash African Support Group. And today we're here to talk about the video that has gone viral. I am imagining that you've seen it, and at least you would have seen a clip of it at the beginning of this video. So Bolaji, you're welcome to Real Talk with Glo.
Thanks. It's nice to be here finally. So
Yeah.
well done. You're doing an amazing job, by the way. So
Thank
perfect.
you.
And
Thank you.
I'm a big fan from afar. I just keep
Yay.
watching. So
Thank you. So Bolaji, having watched the video, what do you think? When you first saw the video, what came to your mind?
I was worried. I was worried for the child. I was worried for the mother. I was worried for the whole family altogether because it was a big event. It's something that you can't erase. It's something that's going to be there forever. And for the fact that it was on video, it's trending all over the world. The impact it would have on the family on the long term was the biggest worry for me. So
That's true. I was worried about that myself. When I first saw it, I was thinking, of what happens to the child and what happens to the family as a whole. And the fact that it has given people the license to talk, because once it goes viral or once it goes out, that means you're permitting the whole world to talk about your family.
True.
Yeah. And then what can you say about it? I saw on the comment section of the likes of Tunde Ednot and Aproko TV and many other channels on the internet, and people were commenting. Some people were blaming the boy, some people were slagging the mom, thinking that the home training wasn't properly done from the start, and some people were saying he needs to come to Nigeria to have his brain reset. Some people were of the opinion that the boy probably has mental health issues. So too many kind of concept and perception that people have. But here now today, I want us to talk about what we feel. So we're kind of going to be the voice of most parents. You're a parent, I'm a parent. So we're going to look at it. I want us to just put ourselves in the shoes of the parents, actually. And then maybe that way we can talk properly about it. Not being judgmental or anything.
I think it's easy to talk when you watch a video like that. It's easy to blame the parent, it's easy to blame the child, it's easy to blame everybody. But what's not easy to do is that people tend to forget the fact that that was a big incident. That is not just what you've just watched and just, oh my God, some families messed up. It's not just about the boy being messed up, it's not about the parent being a bad parent. You can't define parenthood. Every child, every family is different. So the way you see your family is different from the way I see them. And the way you treat your family is different from the way you treat them. Just because you treat your family in this particular way doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah, that's true.
It might not have boomerang yet. It doesn't mean it's not going to boomerang. So I suppose my worry again, like I said, is the fact that this family this is a big issue. I don't know how this is going to be resolved. Because as much as you can sit down and talk, what about the next door neighbor that's seen it? What about the cousin that's seen it? What about the uncles, the aunties, the sisters, and everybody like that? It's again, I would not judge anybody. I don't know what happened, but what I do know is that I'm very worried about the state of mind of everybody right now. That very young man, what made him actually do that? He's gone so far. I can see the state of the mother as well while I was watching the video. As much as I didn't see how much, I could just see the boy from afar, and I can just imagine what's going through his head. You know, little things like that, or things that we need to start worrying about in terms of mental states. You know, we don't know what condition he is, and when we talk about mental states, Africans' perspective, we always think, oh, it's probably mad or something like that, but we don't know. I remember when I was growing up, and every time I get upset about things that I couldn't ask questions about, I'd react in a different way. And I could see myself as that boy, even though I'd never gone that far before, but I could have. Do you know, and I might have done that in different ways. I might have gone out and fought other people on the streets. I might have, you know, had a fight with my sister or something like that. Again, just because it's not on video doesn't mean that it was right.
Yeah.
And because this is on video, then it is to talk about. Like every other person watching this program anyways.
I like the way that you made reference to yourself. I was talking to my friend earlier, and I was saying to her that a lot of things these children do these days, we tend to want to criticize them so quickly, and we forget about our own childhood. We did way worse things than they are doing. That is now not to justify what the child did or to justify a child being disrespectful to the parents. No. But my point is this: in my own time, I went on, myself and a few other people, we went on a pickup. I don't know if you remember what we call pickup in Nigeria, the pickup van. It was moving. We ran after it. I climbed on it, my friends climbed on it, and we normally would go, and when it goes very far, we jump down. And when I jumped down, I still have the scars. Some people see it sometimes and they say, oh, she bleaches. That's the scar. I got that from it. I have 2 on my knee as well from doing that. And I want to imagine a child in Dublin now going to do the same thing that I did many years ago. They are going to say, oh, he's a monkey, he's behaving like an animal, he needs to go back to Nigeria. People are going to say a lot of things. So I think that our children are having to face different types of culture shock. They are facing culture shock, and they are facing the highest form of, shall I dare to call it, racism, because they go out and the outside world cannot understand them. They come into us, we can't understand them, because we look at them and we say, look at this privileged child that is wasting his privilege. He has wasted all of his privileges. If you were in Nigeria, you won't get this, you won't get that. Now you're here, you get all the privileges, you're wasting it. But we tend to forget that this child is brought up in a different environment from ourselves.
I think most of the biggest problem is cultural identity for the kids as well.
That is
they
it.
grow up as a white child in their head. And then when they get to secondary school, first year, second year, third year, they realize, hold on a minute, I'm not white actually. And then there's this separation. Then if you notice from secondary school, the kids start separating from each other. So the white kids stay with the white kids, and the black kids stay with the black kids. But people forget that it takes mental state to deal with that transition. Do you know what I mean? And then, of course, we Africans or Nigerians particularly like to say, oh, they've bring the child back to Africa, his head is going to reset. But the kids misbehaving in Africa as well. I go to Africa every year or twice a year at times, and I see things and I'm like, come on now. A child shouldn't be doing things like this.
And I know a few people who sent their kids to Africa, and their kids came back way worse than they were when they went to Africa. Some of them learned the highest level of the one we want to call 419. I don't want to call it as it is now, but they learned it. Some got girls pregnant, and when they came back, schools couldn't even accept them because they were so bad, they were getting expelled. And this is because the dad or the mom felt, okay, I'll bring him to Africa to reset his brain. But the reset of brain doesn't actually really happen. I think that what these children need is for you to be able to trust them. If you give birth to a child, you raise the child from when the child was an infant, you have instilled a lot of things into this child. Trust yourself that you have done a great job and allow this child to grow. If you have raised the child, this boy is 17 years old. The mom raised the child till the child is 17. Trust him that he's going to do you proud, or trust yourself that you did a great job. Except, of course, if you want to say to us that you did a rubbish job, then that is when you need to start following them and trying to baby them. In this case now, the boy wanted his mom's P21, is it? Right. And then he wanted his own passport. She denied him both. And that was the reason he got enraged. I could, relate it to some children. I know that many children have applied for these SUSI grants. Some of them were denied and some were approved, but these children are all linked up together. So say a child A is applying for something, B, C, D, E knows, and they do the same application. The moment you get your approval, you send your text to say, I've been awarded such and such amount. So this boy, I think, would have heard other children saying, I've been approved, I've been approved, I've been approved.
Yeah.
But mom refuses to give him just a P21 and a passport, and it's possible the boy has done something to the mom and she wants to discipline him.
Yeah.
Which is okay, but I feel that the discipline can be done through something, maybe some other means, and I think that there's a different way to correct this child. I also think that if the boy wants to go to UCD, like they said on the video, a useless child or a mumu child, like we call it in Nigeria, or a child who is not having his heart on, would not go to UCD.
100%.
So if he wants to go to UCD, that means he has his heart on, in my opinion. So I think that it's you and your child against the world. To as much as possible, support your child. Give him all the support that he needs. That doesn't mean that you would not look for a different way to discipline him when he's wrong. But if he needs SUSI grant, and if he's given the grant, it's going to ease you, the tension of having to look for fees and pay this and that and that. So I think, that he might have been in the right, on the right path. But I don't know. Nobody knows what has gone down. Nobody knows.
Leading up to the video.
Yeah.
Again, I suppose coming back to, I'm going to come back to the SUSI grants, but then talking about Nigeria as well and stuff like that, where parents bring their kids to Africa and then bring them back, and then, of course, some of them change. Of course, some of them don't change. Now, but the only thing also is that the kids then become wiser and they do their misdemeanor in different ways.
Yeah.
And that's what I've seen with other kids that have come to Africa and come back to Ireland. Talking about the grant, again, with the things that he spoke about in the video as well, and talking about it, looking for the P21 and stuff like that, we don't know the kind of communication they have in the family as well. We don't know the reason why the mother probably didn't. But that's what he said. The mother hadn't said anything.
Yeah.
So we're not going to go with exactly what he said as well.
Yeah.
Again, the only worrying thing, the most worrying thing here is the fact that as much as it looks so bad, and you think that, oh, my child will never do that, doesn't mean your child will do something worse in the future.
No.
I've seen kids that are so quiet, they're so respectful, more than people. I've seen kids more than their parents. Well, not saying, but I've heard, what is happened there in that family, as much as it looks so bad, it might be a turning point for them.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, what's your own turning point? We don't know what's going to happen to the other person watching this program, or myself, or yourself.
Or myself, yeah.
So again, it's not so much about constantly, judging this family and trying to run them down. I think if there's ever a time this family need anybody, needs love, it's now. It's now that we need to come together as a community and say, look, we understand what you're going through. Give them the privacy as well. Let them heal, because this is big.
Massive.
This is really big. I'm looking at that and I'm still very. Just the thought about watching that video alone is just like, it's a massive big boy. It's a big, it's like when you have a child and you look at your child and you're so proud as a parent. That's what that boy comes across to me. It's got presence. He walks into a room, there's a man in the room.
Yeah.
You can say he's 17 for all you care, that's fine, but that's a man in a boy's body.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that's a boy in a man's body. But again, I think that we need to find a way as Africans also to support each other in situations like this. Some people that might know the family or the woman or something like, yeah, good for her. We never tell them.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. This is when they want to kind of judge people. Exactly. Say, now only you did here. That kind of thing. The way we are anyways. But it's time for us to say, okay, what can we do to support this family as a people? It's not just about, just poking fun and trying to be judgmental and everything like that. I think that this might be something that brings the family together in a way that is never done, although that is never going to heal. This is a fact. What we're saying there is never going to heal, but what then can happen then is that it can actually heal them in other ways.
Yeah, but they can heal, they can walk towards the healing process gradually. And during my research for this video, one thing I heard often from people is that the woman raised her kids very well, that she tried a lot, they go to church and all that, and that the boy is a very good child. That's what I've heard. I've heard from young people saying that he's such a good kid. I've heard adults say he's a good kid. So if, for example, an African parent opens up her mouth to tell you that I don't know what happened, that boy is a very good boy, then you know that there is something that we will call in Nigeria the village people. Maybe the village people have come to visit. So if this is the village people coming to visit, our prayer today would be that God heals the hearts of the parents as well as the boy, you know, and so that they can come back together. Because there's an African proverb that says that if you beat a child with one hand, you draw him close with the other hand. We're not saying that what this child has done is right. Very far from it. But what we are saying is that there are different ways to doing things, that in this kind of place where we find ourselves, it's a place that you're supposed to draw your child close and remember that there's this environmental factor. There's peer pressure. There's a lot of things. He could be going through something. Some people who have children who are 2 years old, 3 years old, are blabbing all over the internet. I need such people to just get themselves ice cubes to just calm themselves down and wait until their kids get to 16 years old, and then you can talk. Because if you have 16, 17-year-old at home, sometimes you just hear a scream, and then you run down. Are you okay? Are you okay? Yeah. Did something? No. What happened? No. Yeah. No. And as if there's a wall. There's a wall between you and them, and they cannot communicate. But what I find is, if you can keep yourself in such a way that you make it easy for them to see that they can trust you, once you win their trust and they know that they can communicate with you, they just need for you to listen. On the video, the boy said, you don't listen. The other uncle said, I love you. He said, you always say that, but you haven't done anything. Something like that. So that means it's possible, maybe promises that we break. I'm bringing this up to just release a few points, that if you make promises to these children, just try to keep your promise. If you are angry with them, don't be too rigid. Just soften your mind a bit and try to communicate with them. Negotiate with them. Teach your children the power of negotiation. Let them be able to come to you to say certain things and you say certain things as well. It will help them in the future as they grow, finish up school. It will help them to be able to relate to people in the world separately. But if you don't teach them the power of negotiation, there is no way they are going to be able to negotiate outside. These children are looking for your validation. Please give them the validation that they deserve. They are looking, you are their role model. You are their superhero. Just make them, sometimes, because at home in Nigeria, sometimes they beat you up and do a lot of things to you, but it's that your uncle, that your auntie that hits you the most that you tend to love the most. Because when they are done with you, they buy you Bazooka Joe, or they buy you.
That's funny because I had an uncle when I was growing up, and he is the weirdest, because when he beats you, you know, it's like you being hit by Moloi, right? But it's funny though, because then he goes out, and that time there was it's not Mr. Biggs, it was something else. I can't remember what it was called, because Mr. Biggs was in.
No.
Yeah, but he would go buy it for me, and I would make sure I finish it. But it's funny though, because on this day, it's the one I love the most of all my uncles. Again, discipline is not an act of law, an act of the fact that it's not love or something like that. Discipline could be love as well. And like you said at times, the other time you said, when you discipline a child with one hand, you draw them closer with the other hand. And again, I think a lot of people make a mistake when they think that, oh, you know, when the boy is that big, you can't train him again. He's gone past that stage. He's become, you know, but training a child, in my personal opinion, again, I can't tell anybody how to train a child. I'm not qualified to. But I've always believed that when you train a child from when they're adolescents to the age of at least 14, 15, when they go past that stage, I'm sorry, you can't.
No, you can't.
Because their image, their character is all formed.
Built,
you know, so at that stage, it's more about what you instilled in them.
Perfect.
That then makes them. I remember, again, I keep saying myself, because when I was in secondary school, I was always angry. Well, not necessarily always angry, but I always had incidents. I'm more like a freedom fighter. So I would go to school, and anytime I'd see any senior beating any junior, there was going to be hell. There was going to be trouble. There was going to be like, I'm going to kill somebody. And somebody's going to kill me. So I get into loads of fights, fighting for other people. But that's because I had issues in my mind as well, that I had questions that I couldn't ask anyone. And again, in Africa at that time, when your parents are talking, I'm sorry, you don't talk.
No.
You know yourself,
You don't
when the elders are sitting
No,
down,
you wouldn't.
don't get close.
No.
You know, don't go to the living room, go to your room. You only come there in the evening or to come watch 9 o'clock news.
Or when you're called
Oh yeah, 100%.
to go on an errand.
Yeah. So again, look, it's just little things like this that are very
Go on
important
errands.
for growing up for us that time, you know. But again, you can't bring that here though.
No, you can't.
You can't.
That's what
because-
I keep saying. If you want to bring it, then just get a house in. Okay, if for example you get a house in the likes of Maitama, VI, wherever, and bring your child there, you're still going to face this, the
Yeah.
worst.
Mm.
The children that are at the age of this child now in the likes of Maitama, they drink, they smoke, they do drugs, they date both men and women. That's the kind of lives they live. The lifestyles there is horrible, but they want to now come to you and say to you that, oh, that's the best. There's no best way to parent a child.
Yeah, no.
What is peculiar to one child is different to what is peculiar to
It's
the
like
other one.
twin.
Just try your best and just trust yourself, basically, that you've instilled something into the life of this child. And I trust that I've done a good job, and I've entrusted this child into the hand of God, and good things will come, because you have a turn to raise this child.
Yeah.
You're getting old. It's going to be the turn of this child to look after you. So there's no need for power struggle. I feel as if most of the times it's power struggle. But you don't need to do that power struggle if you have created the boundaries from the beginning.
Yeah.
If the child knows from when he's a child that, okay, don't cross these boundaries. Even when he's in his husband, with his wife, or a lady in her husband's house, you remember. Sometimes I sit down, I remember my grandmother raised me. I remember some things she says to me. It comes to my head. I might be doing something and I'm very, very tired, and I hear chirikute, chirikute. That means, that means keep pushing, keep trying. You know, like it comes. So these children are going to feel that. All you need to do is just trust them. Just trust that you've done a good job, and allow them. And if they are being, a certain way and you think they need help, please, let's believe that there's something called depression. Let's seek help for our child. I've heard about African children committing, taking their own lives. And normally you don't hear that.
Yeah, well, I suppose,
Yeah, I know that mental health issues happens to everybody, but within the African community in Ireland, I have heard in recent years, how that very young children within this age would easily take their own lives. And I feel that we need to be sensitive to the needs of these children. It's okay to discipline them, but you need to understand your child. You need for your child to know that you understand them, you love them, you trust them, you validate them, and that, let them know these things. Let's stop hiding it. Some people cannot, listen to their child. The child feels as if you never listen, because they keep talking and saying the same things over and over and over again, and you don't even know they are saying anything.
And it's not easy being a parent as well, because I understand that, being a parent is difficult. You have to think about food, bring them to school,
Bills.
fees and bills, and keeping the home together and everything like that. And again, I one of those men that really have top respect for any single mother out there that have to deal with raising a child on their own and everything like that. But like you said, trust, respect, discipline, they all go together.
They go together.
Then now comes the stage then where everything then kind of pans out. Hopefully, parents we always assume we're doing the best. I'm the best parent.
Yeah.
I don't care what you think. You're not a better parent than I am. And you
And
think
you can't
about that
teach
as
me
well.
how to
And you
parent,
can't-
yeah.
exactly. And that's the beauty. Also, going back from Africa. Right? When I came here the first time, I remember 2 years, the first 2 years, I was driving in Cork and I seen a child smoking, and I had to park. Because way back in Africa, if you see a child smoking, I mean, come on now.
Yeah, I know.
You're gonna get spanked, all right? They're gonna batter you and drag you to your parents. Your parents will beat you on top of that.
Yeah.
And I parked my car. I was like, "What are you doing?" The child was about 12 or 13. I could argue my life that was age. I'm not quite sure, but it wouldn't look more than that. And people were looking at me like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "The child is smoking." I was like, "I was telling your business." I'm like, "What do you mean? How's that my business?" But that's the way we're raised back home. It takes a parent to raise a child. It takes the whole community to raise a child back home.
Back home.
Back here, it's not done like
No,
that.
you're on your own.
I can't tell your child, oh yeah, what you're doing there, go home.
No.
Because then you might not be happy. The child will not be happy, and it start leading to other problems.
Instead, I even go behind to go and say, oh, the child is a bad child. He does this and
Exactly.
does that and does that. And I probably have a child who is way worse.
Of course. And that's the thing, you never see anything bad in your own child though, until something massive happens. And then you can't deny it again. At the end of the day, we need to find a way to make that happen. We also need to find a way also to trust ourselves as well. As far as I'm concerned, I work with lots of youth and I know what they go through at times. Cultural confusion, identity is big problem. Non-acceptance, knowing the fact that this is our home. Why am I being treated like this? You know, I've seen these young ones ask me questions about, oh, but they shouldn't do this, but they shouldn't. I can deal with racism.
Yeah.
Because I've grown up my life knowing about it.
Yeah.
I prepared my mind for it when I came here. And I dealt with the mental slavery. Now I'm okay. If anybody tells me, Rob, I can deal with it. These kids can't deal with it. They don't understand it because they weren't growing up back home the way you were growing up, and you were abused back home anyways.
Yeah. But you still stand and fight for yourself.
And then you come here, you're strong-minded already. They're not built for that. They're built for this easy life, you know, everything is there. Which is good, and you say, oh, I'll bring you to Africa when you do this and that. What are you doing? This is their home. Anyhow you want to look at it, you know, you got to respect that and then find a different way then to help them. And I think that's one of the things that, we're the first generation of Africans in Ireland. That's another problem again. There's a lot of problem. What is quite important though is that when we go into situations like this, we have the likes of the groups that help with mental state and counseling and stuff like that. I know black people think that, oh, let's be that. You know, but we do need it one way or the other. As much as you might think, oh, what's they call like that? I beg. It's not just an important thing. When you live in a society where it's well controlled. In Nigeria, I mean, come on now. I'll drive and no get license. Nothing they happen.
Nothing.
I'll drive you no get insurance. Even police don't know about their insurance.
If they catch yourself, you said to.
I'll give you fuck you. I'll be 1
No, but it's different here.
Exactly. So this is a controlled society where, you know, in Nigeria, you can play music and loud your music to 2 o'clock in the morning. If your neighbor's verse, go come join you.
Yeah.
You know, but it's different here. And so how do you deal with the mental state when you can't have these things? When you're barely challenged. Yeah. You don't go out that much, you go to work, you come back home, in your house, in your 4 corners. Nobody say we'll sit down outside or we'll just. You know that it's totally different. We need to know that because we're the first generation of Africans, it's hard to deal with it. But that's why we have help, we have support, we have the likes of counseling groups and loads of other groups that help single mothers, single fathers. And I know I talked about single mothers, but I also know about single fathers as well. You know, my friend is, I have a friend that's dealing with situations like that as well. So, but look,
when I first heard about this, when I first saw the video, what first came to my mind, especially after reading all the comments, is his parents are probably not together. And then after my research, I discovered that they're actually together. You know, she was saying on the video that his dad said his dad is just around the corner. You know, I don't want to say where he is, but he's not too far, and he visits them often, and he's actively involved in, you know, parenting the child. Lives, yeah. It's just something that just went wrong. So what I want to say to us parents is, try your best to stop looking at these children as if they are demons, please, because try to remember your own youth. You had all the privileges. You were opportune to be yourself, go crazy if you want to, do whatever you want to. Yeah. But these children can't, because if they try to do that, they are going to get themselves in trouble. Their names would remain on the record system. Some people those days now, they date this thing court, they do a lot of things. Then some of them get gunshot wounds, some of them get stabs, and they're still going around with it, and nobody keep them anywhere, because if they hold you, your parents go give Kotis more money, you go come out. You can't do that here. No. So since you know that you can't do that here, give your child opportunities once in a while, even if it's once or twice a year, to bring his or her friends in. I think it's even better for you to allow them to bring their friends closer to you, so you see the kind of people they have, and you know the ones you're going to advise against, and you can see his character when he spends around as well. So you know what he does outside when you're not there, because it's easy to judge, but you have to wear the shoe to know how,
To know where
you
it
know,
hurts.
yeah, to know where it hurts. Thank you. So guys, please, let's do our best. Let's stop being judgmental. Stop sharing that video. It's not too good a thing to behold. Let's kill it for the future of this boy and for the family, for the fact that the family is going through a lot. And if any family member can see me or watch this video, please, when you beat a child with right hand or whichever hand, you pull the child close to yourself with the other hand. That boy is so cute. He's not the type of child that you want to leave to anybody to raise for you. I beg. Biko, Norma. Because you didn't want your ofuma. Sorry, I'm normally
I
like
can speak
that.
my Yoruba as well.
Yeah, just try. Draw your child close. Whatever you need to do, anything when you supposed to, when go make them give you your pikin back, because I hear say deal with you again. Say the pikin they don't carry them. Abi you don't give them. Whether they carry them or abi now you give them more. But the bottom line, foster care no be for pikin when you don't suffer, you don't raise this pikin, so take pikin don't reach 17 years.
It's
Find
beautiful
pikin
boy.
like
Very-
that.
like
I want
I'm
him.
a man.
Like I want
I'm looking at that boy.
him.
I'm like, this
Honest.
boy is got presence.
It's
This
too
this
much.
is a man. It's
And
a
if
boy in a
I
man's
looked
body.
into his eyes, I saw a few of his videos. I looked into his eyes. I can't see craziness.
No.
Like I see in him a humble child.
He was still collective
who
when
is-
he made in the middle of all that madness. He was still collective. He
The
was
uncle
not.
touched him.
Yeah.
Normally, if he's a crazy child or if he's somebody who is very rude, he would be rude to that man, but he wasn't.
No.
He was still very, very nice. So maybe he flipped. Who hasn't? You have been like that yourself. Maybe you didn't do something like that, but you probably
Maybe
did
they did
something.
once,
You
but
did
nobody
way worse.
recorded you doing
did,
that.
Yeah, nobody recorded you. And when you have monitoring spirits around you and you call friends, please, who recorded that and who threw it out? Like I don't want to blame anyone for allowing them to do the video in the first place, but why would you video me when my child is enraged and then send it out? Africans, we hate ourselves. Because what is the rationale behind sending this video out and putting that boy, he's underage, and you put him everywhere? My joy is that he wants to go to UCD. That means he has his cap on. So if you meet him wherever, however, give him all the support he deserves. And for the parents as well, they need all our support. Keep them out of your mouth and wait until your own time. If it happens to you, maybe then you would understand what we're talking about. Because if it doesn't happen to you, you won't know what these people are going through.
And can I just say something
Yeah.
as well, that whatever's happened, whatever you've watched, whatever you think you might have seen, whatever you think that you might not have a future, this boy's got a massive future in front of him.
Big time.
I am telling you that this is going to be the definition of him. It's going to make him a better person, no matter how you want to look at it. Because I'm looking at that boy, I don't think he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Although he was angry,
He was angry.
he still was not disrespecting his mother
He was
directly.
humble. There was still humility,
There was still
in his
humility
anger.
in his anger,
Yeah.
and that's something that you must know, that in every man, when you have something like that, it's priceless. You can't train that. It's something that is in him. His future is not dented.
No, it's
Nothing
bright.
is going to stop his future. But the question is that you then judging, talking, and crucifying, you need to check about your own
What
self.
goes
then.
around comes around. What
Well,
goes
I
around
suppose
comes around.
support is what we need now, and then hopefully now we get all the support we need. Go.
Yeah. So guys, I think that'll be all for today.
Well, I suppose it's been
It's a wrap, yeah?
interactive enough.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Again, thanks everyone for watching. It's a pleasure to be on Glow.
Yeah.
So
We're very happy to have you here.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. I was like, oh, Glow, we need to talk me as well, and we never had the time to do that. But again, it's a pleasure to talk to be here. It's not. I suppose it's not something we would like to talk about,
No.
but unfortunately it's
It
there.
has happened.
But we're also glad then to be letting other people know that, look, this is not the end of this family, this is not the end of this boy. And as a parent, we all have work to do. No child is perfect, no family is perfect. We are all trying.
And if you're a young person watching this, if you want to communicate with your parents and you feel as if they don't listen to you, if you feel as if they don't care, try your best to send them a message. Because sometimes when you have maybe annoyed them, they might not want to listen to you at that point.
That's me now.
But you can send a text message. You can write a love note. Your mom, your dad are the first people that you're going to, need to show love to. They are going to remain with you. You're stuck with them. You didn't choose them.
Forever.
God gave them to you. So whether you like it or not, they will remain in your life. Whether you like it or not, you look after them when they are nice and old. Whether you like it or not, you bury them when they are dead. So what you're going to do now is to try your best to communicate. Don't break the bond. Don't break the bond between a mother and a child or a father and a child is very, very sweet. Please try your best to communicate with your parents. Don't think that they don't love you. If your mom did not love you, she will abort you before she gives birth to you. But the fact that she carried you 9 months, went into the labor room, when a woman is in the labor ward, her life hangs on a balance. So it's between life and death situation. She went through all of that, gave birth to you. When you were a child, she could have done whatever she likes with you. She raised you. Now you're a man. Now you're a lady. Please look after your own. They are the best people. You can have friends and they'll fail you, but your parents are going to be there for you for the rest of your life. So please don't throw this away now. Make up with your parents, please. Yeah? And for parents, if you're angry with your child, remember that you have suffered for them up to this extent. It is now time for them to look after you in the next couple of years. Don't waste it. Don't let the job that you have done, the great job you have done, go to waste or be enjoyed by someone else. Like the prayer of Mountain of Fire that would say that when the day of celebration comes, I will be there. No man will take my place in the name of Jesus. So try to do that to make sure nobody takes your place. Thank you very much for tuning into my channel. I don't know. Thank you very, very much for coming here today. I really do appreciate, honestly. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Real Talk with Glow, and follow me on Instagram at Real Talk with Glow. God bless.